And it's not always dogs and cats. It could be birds, ferrets,
Yeah.
hamsters. We've had a pig before.
Have you?
A little piglet. And we found him a home. He lives the best life ever.
Today, I introduce you to Isabella Maia, the founder of Pawsitive Beings. She gives us her own personal insight in her journey on rescuing homeless and unwanted animals. And we also chat about the effects of backyard breeding. So, let's do it.
Too many days in the darkness without a glimpse of the light. Running tired and broken and scared, but I swear I'll never give up the fight. I see you broken and beat, head pulled down over your eyes. Every part of you wants to surrender, but darling, you were meant to survive. With every star.
Isabella, thanks for coming on today.
Thank you.
And-
Thank you for having me.
Who is this little one you brought as well?
This is Dottie. We recently rescued her from Miami-Dade Animal Services. As a rescue, I'm partnered with them, so we get notifications every day of animals that are high on the kill list. And she was one of them. Her back legs had given up. She wasn't walking. They assumed she was paralyzed. And we took her in after a few weeks of medications, love, resting. She's back on her feet. It is an issue with her back discs, so she does have to be careful. Rest often, not go too wild, but she's back on her feet, and this is what sucks about certain shelters. They just euthanize anything that comes in that looks like it might be a very high cost to treat, and at the end of the day, it wasn't. It was just
need some TLC.
Yeah, exactly. Some steroids, that's it. And she's up and running.
And she is so well behaved because I have not heard a peep from her. Like, we were setting up the lighting to going in the elevator to everything.
Insanely behaved.
I haven't heard a peep.
The only times we hear a peep is when bikes or anything with a wheel involved is near her. She does bark. So we're assuming maybe her injury was from a bike accident or anything involved like that. She's very traumatized from them, and she does stand up for herself when one comes by her. But other than that, she's a great dog.
Yeah.
We hope to find her home soon.
That word you used too, the high on the kill list, that like sparked my interest there, because what exactly is that?
I mean, so there's this shelter, Miami-Dade Animal Services, so overpopulated. They do have a list of dogs that are next to be euthanized. They need the space. They need to keep rotating the animals. A lot of the high kill dogs that are on that list are usually the bully breeds or the ones that need high medical attention. And me, that I'm fortunate enough to have contact with them, they reach out to me, and I get emails every day of dogs that need to be out of there urgently before they do euthanize them. And she was one of them.
I guess another way to say it is just whoever's going to be most expensive for them. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Or I don't know if they don't. I don't know what their medical team is like in there. I'm not sure if they don't have the resources sometimes.
They must not, I'm sure.
They must not. They do have the money for it. I can tell you that much. But I know that in that facility, they don't have all the equipment. But yeah. And then just the bully breeds, they want them out. They know people don't want to usually adopt a dog that looks like a pit bull or anything scary, the typical stereotype. And they sometimes even give you money to go pick up these dogs.
Oh, they'll pay you?
They'll pay you to pick up this dog. They have a $500 check ready for you if you pick up one of these dogs. Yep.
That's interesting.
Very. And they're usually healthy dogs, and they're giving you the $500 to get those dogs out of there.
How do those dogs get in there in the first place? Like, where are they coming from before they get there?
A lot of them are strays. A lot of them are surrenders. A lot of people come in to drop them off. And sometimes they don't have space to take these dogs in. And usually when they don't have space, a lot of families go out, super popular area, Redlands and Homestead.
Yeah.
And they drop them off right there.
Mm.
There's a community of dogs and cats just being tossed right there. And
Oh,
a
it's
lot
disgusting.
a lot of rescues super dedicated to going out there and just feeding them, having routes, knowing exactly where these dogs are and cats. And a lot of them are people that find those dogs there and bring them in as strays. And I mean, eventually they were somebody's pet, you know, and then just toss, and they don't have the resources to live out there and survive. A lot of them come in with injuries. They're either hit by cars, crazy skin infections, you know. Really, it's a really, really sad
You
situation.
must be a little overwhelmed yourself then, just with the amount of.
Yeah. It's just I have at least 50 calls every day, just people calling, and I know very short amount of them are to either adopt, because usually people that are interested in adopting from us, they either email us, they shoot us a text. The calls are usually always something urgent, right? I found this dog.
I need it now.
It's now. And it's sad. It's sad. It's super overwhelming how many calls we get every day.
Yeah. I mean, and I can imagine too, the amount of calls to give up dogs is a lot more than people trying to take them in. What's the typical ratio, you think?
Yeah.
Like every 3 to 1 or?
Yeah. I mean, I get 10 surrender forms and I have maybe 1 adopting form.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so sad.
But we've been, Pawsitive Beings has been really, really lucky. We get everyone adopted eventually. We don't give up on anybody. We usually have really quick adoption responses. We typically, I think the last 2 dogs we had, it's been taking a little longer than usual, but you know, we're here with them. They're in their foster homes. They're comfortable. So that's what matters. But yeah, it's super positive outcome always with every dog we take in or cat.
That's good, because I can only imagine, like, who wouldn't want her?
A Dottie Pepper.
Yeah. Where did you come up with that name, Dottie Pepper?
So my partner, who's also all of our animals veterinarian.
Oh, that's awesome. You have a little in-house medical treatment there.
He is a big golf guy, and Dottie Pepper used to be a golf player. Also now I think she's just a broadcaster for all the golf tournaments, and that's where the name came from. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
And they fit right in. Dottie's blonde. This Dottie's kind of blonde. They kind of look alike.
Yeah. That'd be awesome if we got Dottie Pepper to adopt Dottie Pepper.
I know, and she will. It's just I think it throws people off when they hear about, you know, the trauma. Yeah. Usually the medical. It's very easy to get a tripod dog adopted or a one-eyed dog or cat adopted. Yeah. Usually when it's a little more serious like this, it tends to scare people away, but they just need to meet her, because
I feel like everybody, though, who's looking for a dog to adopt just wants somebody that's home friendly, guest friendly. And I mean, she just gets home.
She has the whole package.
Yeah. I mean, I've only seen her like lick her face and that's it.
I've been her foster these past few weeks. And at home we have a cat, a ferret, we have birds, other dogs. She's been okay with everybody.
Yeah. I was going to say, you've got to probably be overwhelmed yourself just wanting to adopt all of them yourself, but
it's hard. It's hard when they come by and stay with us. We want to keep them all.
Where can people find, is it just on your website where to adopt the animals that you have?
Yes. So we're really big on the social media. It's usually where we find everybody to adopt.
Okay.
And you can take a look on our Instagram as well, Facebook, who we have up for adoption. But at the end of the day, the website is it's where you should really take a look at. It's our website with the available animals.
Yeah, because I'm looking here, and these animals are just like so cute. And I'm looking at these photos, and it reminds me. Last week, my adorable nephew, who's about to turn 2 years old, he had his first picture day at school. It didn't go so well. It didn't go so well because you got to keep him still and smile and giggly, and he's dressed nicely, and his hair's done. And then I'm looking at these photos, and you're able to get them smiley in a cute position, and it's like so photogenic. And I'm
It's
wondering, how are you able to
it's hard
kind of do it?
work. It's hard work.
Yeah, is it like
It's a
just
skill. It's a skill.
and 500 photos?
Yeah, exactly. If you go through my photo gallery, it's just the same dog and the same picture.
Yeah.
You know, always treats around. If they're
Mm-hmm.
treat motivated, that's a big plus. They look right at the camera if you're holding it. Sometimes even if they don't know how to sit, they'll just sit because they're waiting for that treat. And it's so tough. It's funny because I have a really hard time explaining this to my fosters.
Yeah.
As while they're in foster, I love to get pictures of them so we can keep sharing, show everybody how they're doing.
Mhm.
You know, I can't always be in the studio with these dogs,
Yeah.
but the one time I can are these pictures that I have on the website. And those are the ones that I'm taking. So I know how to do it, but it's tough explaining to everybody, you know, like make them sit, make them look at the camera,
Mhm.
show them a treat, show them their favorite toy. But that's how we do it. And yeah, the
Yeah.
cats are a little tougher.
Are they?
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes they're scared. They're, you know,
Mhm.
they're animals that like to be in their environment, you know, and
Yeah.
they're common space at all times. You take them out of their space to a studio, they'd be like, where are we?
Yeah,
So
yeah, they're not trying to.
it's a little tougher. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I one of my the ones that stuck out to me when I was looking at your website on the dogs you have available now.
Mhm.
Tom,
Oh my God.
Tom, can you tell a little bit about Tom, because I just want to cry looking at that photo.
He's actually at my house.
Is he? Because Tom is the type of animal that is on like the TV commercial where "In the Arms of the Angel" comes on by, I think it was Sarah McLachlan or whatever.
Yes.
That is Tom. If everyone-
Automatic change the channel every time.
Yeah,
that song
yeah.
would come on.
Just
I'm like,
mute, look
don't
the other
wanna.
way, and feel
Yeah.
like a coward.
Tom was actually somebody who reached out to us through Instagram.
Okay.
A young lady. And we took him in right away. She sent us a picture of him. We saw the weird shadowing in his eye, just showing that he was probably blind or something going on, needs to be treated, needs to go to a specialist.
Looks like he's crying.
Yeah, he's yeah. So we took him in right away. She brought him over to us. The process of surrendering to us, you just have to fill out an application. We go through it. If we're available and have space to take them in, we do. We accept it. We do have a surrender fee that all goes towards the care of the animal that's being dropped off. And we took him in. We did a few tests at a general practice veterinary office. He does have some vision. He can see. We just think it's like a blurry thing. Never runs into anything, but he's just so happy.
Is he?
So happy.
Oh.
Purring at all times. Just wants to cuddle. Knows when it's playtime.
Yeah.
He's a gem of a cat. And took him to a specialist just to have a second opinion on his eyes. Told me to leave it alone. He's a happy boy. It's not bothering him. He's not painful. Good. So yeah, it might throw some people off. How he doesn't have really
He looks damaged.
Yeah.
Like physically and emotionally, honestly. But I'm ecstatic to know that
that does not faze him. He's
Good.
like, I'm a happy guy. He's happy. It's sad to think he wouldn't have made it out there.
No, I mean 1 pound, less than 2 months old.
He wouldn't have made it out there. So little, not having that full vision to be aware of his surroundings. Anything could have gotten him, So I'm happy he's with us.
Oh yeah, I feel like he'd be the first one to find a home. Which of the dogs are the easiest to find homes on?
Usually the little guys.
I was gonna say, that's Tom. That's Tom.
Usually the little guys are very easy. If we get anything with that, it's a pure breed. People love that. They go by really fast. And yeah, older cats are harder. People love kittens. They love kittens. We love puppies. We love kittens.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
But I think you have to have that mature mindset to know you're saving an animal. So I think I know from now on, I'm only saving seniors.
Yeah.
I only want senior pets. That's all I want. I don't want to deal with potty training. I don't want to deal with
I know.
puppy. I don't. They're cute. I don't want it. I'll save it. It'll live with me until I find it a home, but not as a personal pet. I just want to keep making a difference and adopting these senior dogs that people just dump and
Mm-hmm.
give them their last few years, few months, whatever they have, their happiest. And some people can't handle that, and I understand. But
I could,
you know, it's like, what? They're only going to be with me for a few months? Like that's heartbreaking.
You're like
Like
a
I
hospice.
can't do that. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, but if not, they're just going to go die in that cage. They're going to stay forever in that cage
Yep.
and die. It's like,
well, because here's the difference. You're thinking for the animal's point of view. They're
course.
thinking for themselves.
I'm not thinking about myself at that moment. No.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of them. They can come live with me 4 months, 9 months, 2
Yeah.
years, whatever it takes. And I'll treat whatever they need, you know, whatever medical needs they might need at the moment. I'll handle it.
Yeah, because you're a nurse by trade, right?
Yeah, I'm a nurse as well. I've done it for a few years now. Definitely doing it less. Ever since I opened my nonprofit.
Yeah.
Just completely focusing on that. What's most important to me.
Yeah.
So it's nice having the medical background as well as my partner at home being a doctor. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I'm very blessed to be able to operate my rescue and have this background and all this help.
Yeah, between the two of you guys have probably touched almost every animal in Miami. I
Yeah.
feel like at some point you've helped every single one of them, I'm sure.
Probably. And it's where we get a lot of our surrenders too, you know? People come in, they can't afford medical treatments or hospitalization, surgery, and their option is just to put the animal down. And usually I take over, they surrender the animal to me if they're okay with it. And I usually raise enough funds to be able to treat the animal if it's something very serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How what would you say is the biggest reason people give up their pets? I would think medical finances somewhat intertwined. Maybe I can't think that it wouldn't be because they don't love their animal anymore. I would think it's got to be something with finances to where they just can't do anything else. I mean, from your experience, what do you think if you ask for a reason on those forms? What do people typically put?
It's usually financial. Yes. A big one's financial. A big one's not having time anymore. And knowing their animal deserves better. Yeah. Instead of being home in a crate all day while they're at work. I think that's one of the biggest reasons. But I also come across a lot where I think cultural, in some cultures, just having a pet is kind of like an outdoor thing. You know? Yeah. Throughout the years, it's changed. You know,
for sure.
They're my kids. You know, they're literally my kids. They sleep under the covers with me.
I celebrate Mother's Day.
Yeah. They get dressed on Christmas. They get a Halloween costume. Yeah.
They get treats when they behave.
Exactly, and some people just treat these animals as a guard, or just they're meant outdoor. You know, in this heat, like, or in the cold in New York. It's just. It's not, that mentality is old. It's old school. I think it should just be done. These people are not educated enough. We see that a lot at the hospitals. You know, people come in with their pets. They're not on flea and tick prevention every month, heartworm prevention. They don't know about these things. You know, the dog's been itching for 5 months. It's infested in fleas. But the dog it's not feeling well anymore. You test it for heartworm. It's positive. Because the dog lives outside, you know. It's I think it's a lot of just cultural stuff too, and you can't blame that person because that's what they were probably raised like, right? Yeah. They were probably raised in a home where the dogs lived outside. They weren't allowed inside. They're an outdoor thing. But when it comes to that, it's like, why even have a pet? Why even have an animal? Yeah. I don't even like to call it a pet. Why even have that animal? You're not enjoying it. It's not enjoying its life. So. And then a lot of those people are the ones that come in and they don't have the funds to treat the animal, and they end up surrendering it because they don't have that attachment to the animal. They're like, yeah, whatever, I'll get rid of it. I don't really have the funds for it. You'll take it? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's
okay,
just
cool.
Like whatever.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
They don't vaccinate their animals too. We see a lot of that, you know? People just backyard breeding. They're not educated on spaying and neutering. And then just keep breeding, having litters. And then these dogs end up in the street too. Not enough people to give them away to.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like a huge problem here is it sounds like the breeding. I mean, what exactly is backyard breeding? If you can give us a little bit of insight into that.
I mean, just what it sounds like, right? Like you have your house, you have a yard, you buy a dog, the male and the female, and you just start having litters. You force them to mate. They have puppies and you just sell them, right? You're
just artificially pumping up those numbers of population.
Yeah, you are. You really are. While there's plenty of them dying at the shelter, and a lot of the ones that are there are probably from the litter you just had a year ago, you know?
Yeah.
So, and also the types of dogs that these people are breeding in the yards.
They're just trying to do exotic, right?
Which are the bully breeds. A lot of them are the bully breeds that people don't want. Like,
especially in a city. Like, you can't be walking around with a Great Dane or
they're illegal in Miami-Dade, the pit bull terrier. It's illegal. And a lot of shelters, a lot of the shelters rescues. I've been guilty of adopting a dog that's clearly a pit bull, but the shelters put them down as American bulldogs so they can be adopted because it's not enough people, and those dogs are always the ones being euthanized. And
it's sad because like you breed these dogs in Miami. People live in ranch style homes at best typically, or mostly apartments, and like these dogs need space.
They need space. I agree with that. I also disagree just because I have a pit bull and he's the biggest couch potato.
Really?
And we have to force him out of the apartment to go on a walk. If it were up to him, he would just do his business by the door and does not want to go outside. But yes, a lot of them need a yard. They need exercise. You need to make sure you have the time and the dedication to own a dog, when you sign up for it. And it's one of the things I really, really talk to people about before they adopt from me.
Yeah.
I don't want you calling me in a year being like, you know what, this wasn't
have them back.
Yeah.
Do you get that?
I haven't yet.
Okay.
We officially have only been a 501c3 for less than a year. But before that, I've been doing this rescue stuff for a long time, just not officially with the government. And I've never had that happen to me. Okay. I've had it recently, but it was like 2 months later, which, okay. But I don't want you coming back in a year telling me you don't want the dog anymore. And one of the things I do make you sign and read is you cannot drop this dog off at any shelter.
Oh, that's good.
It needs to be back to me. Good exactly. Yeah, back to me. But going back to the backyard breeding, that's how it goes. I mean, I see so many people reach out to me and send me accounts of people starting their own backyard breeding, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting. They buy these short, stocky bully breeds, and those are the ones that have the breathing issues and the skin issues and the joints, and they're so wide and they're weird looking, and it's not normal. It's not a normal breed,
Yeah, when I was leasing apartments a couple of years back, this guy came in and, you talk, when it comes to applying, you really talk about like their employment, how much they make and all that info. And he said he was a dog breeder. And, I mean, at the time, even now, if somebody says I'm a dog breeder, I don't like, completely badger like the outlook on it, but like the way he was talking about it, like he was the artificial, I don't like these animals are money. They're investments. That's it. You're not trying to breed for, maybe there's some good ways or good things for breeding. I don't know. You probably know more than I do, but he was talking about just like these weird concepts, and like, even like he got into like using like chemicals and stuff like that. And I was just like, I don't know anything about this, but I just know from how you're saying it and what you're saying, it's so wrong. But like looking into it, like take a Tibetan Mastiff, for example, which is like what you were talking about, bulky, big, almost bully style breeding, just because that's like their role is to be that protector. And they give about like 6 to 10 puppies on average when they breed.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it just depends.
Yeah, and pregnant for like 2 months, 3 months, probably a little longer.
A little longer, yeah. That's definitely a question for my partner. But yeah.
Well, you can buy one for basically anywhere between 3,000 to 5,000, right?
Or more. People pay $10K for a dog.
Especially how they get over. So let's lowball it and let's go with, say they breed 8 puppies, right? You got 8 puppies. Let's just go with 3,000. So in that 3-month span of you taking care of that pregnant animal, you have 8 times 3,000 is 24,000 alone that you can make, and that's lowballing it off of that one. Now, what I think makes breeding especially heinous in a lot of cases is that dog just bred these puppies. You're removing its puppies.
They also remove it earlier. Way too early.
Yeah. Way too early because people want to buy them, I guess, when they're younger too. So you remove those puppies. Then a month later, you're getting them pregnant again. And then that's another 6 to 8.
And mind you, they're not taking this dog to the vet to see if it's healthy enough to keep breeding. They're not checking any blood work. That mother dog could be positive for God knows what. And then all the puppies get it.
Yep. And then you're selling them and then they're going to people's homes and probably being with other animals too. And, you know, you think about a 1-year time period of doing that to a mother of an animal. And you've taken away maybe 15 to 20 puppies away from her in one single year. And you've made like over 6 figures, but like that is so morally.
We're just heartless, you know? And we see that. We see a lot. I worked emergency for a little and still do sometimes. We once had a puppy come in where the uncle of the breeder brought it and talking about how his nephew has done this breeding for so long and he's super against it and he's told his nephew to stop and he just keeps doing it. And the past litter, all the puppies were sick. Sick. And he brought us the last one that was about to die and it was just kind of like save it or put it down and it's just so sad.
It's so sad.
It's so sad.
Well, it's sad, especially because you have the intention behind it, which is why you know it's almost like infuriating too, because you're trying to help the puppies that are people don't want anymore, or maybe they're too sick. Not puppies that have been just like not sold.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just it's really, really sad. I can't even be around those people. Like when they come into the hospital, I'm like,
is there any positives behind breeding? I mean, is there anything that's like, other than the financial gain that person makes off of these puppies specifically for them, that's a personal gain, but I'm talking more like is there anything beneficial to the animal world?
No.
With breeding? Zero.
I don't think so. Someone can tell me otherwise, but I'm just so deep into the rescuing and saving all the ones that need homes that I'm like, no, there's nothing good about it. There's certain dogs that are, they're meant to work, right? We have the shepherds that are used for bombs searching, drugs, right? The canines at the airport with the police officers. We see them all the time at the hospital. They're working dogs. They want to work, I support that. I think, but they also come from amazing breeders, from like Germany, and it's people that have been doing this and actually care for their dogs, and the mom is safe and okay and healthy and being checked by a veterinarian, and the dad as well, you also have these breeders that I hear people going to like South Carolina for their golden doodles, where it's like a family, it's like I have a home, a family. I had 2 and they had a litter, and I'm selling the puppies because I can't have all of them. And when it comes to that, I'm like, okay, it's fine. But you're breeding in your yard and you're mistreating your dog. Your dog's living outside in a cage, and it's pumping out puppies
because they're not professionals doing it.
They're not professionals doing it.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to be doing that,
especially when they're born all sick.
Exactly.
Have you ever heard of a Great Pyrenees? I think that's the
yes,
dog.
Yes.
It's a huge white dog.
Yes. Yeah.
So that dog, I just did my new. Just did a story about one in my news show last week because it's a shepherd dog. You
Mhm.
know, it's designed to be that worker bee to
Yeah.
protect, and it was so cool because the animal called or the dog's called Casper, and
Okay.
Casper protects the livestock on this farm, and there were 12 coyotes that tried attacking the livestock.
Mhm.
Now, Casper not only defended the livestock and saved every single animal there, out of the 12 coyotes that attacked, he killed 8
That's
and
wow.
chased off the last 4. Killed 8 of them.
It's
Now,
impressive.
yeah,
It's
it is
yeah.
so impressive. And I was like, oh my God, there is such a good role for some of these
There
animals.
is. Yeah.
And especially him. I mean, you look at him and you're like, that's like a polar
Mhm.
bear, you
Yeah.
know? And obviously it came with some damage. He kind of lost part of his tail, a lot of damage attacking
Yeah.
or defending 12
Those-
coyotes.
Those dogs grow up with. So, see, this is another thing too, right? Like that dog was probably came from a litter where his mom and dad probably grew up on that same farm.
Yep.
He probably grew up watching mom and dad doing that. And that's
Oh, you
impressive.
have to.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have
it's
to.
I think that's just beautiful, and I'm not against it. And it's fine. That's totally fine, you know? But it's just these the irresponsible backyard breeding. That's very sad.
I know.
Um,
There's a distinct difference too.
there is. There really is. Yeah. And the same with puppy mills. You know, puppy mills are farms of it's where all those cute dogs that you see behind that glass at those pet stores, that's where they come from.
Mm.
And those come sick too most of the time. They come sick because their parents are sick and living in like disgusting conditions in a puppy mill. Think of all those chickens cooped up in those, those documentaries we watch on Netflix about where your eggs are coming from. That's how these dogs are living.
They pump them with like the steroids and get them more muscular so you get more meat.
That's how these dogs are living. Same like cage conditions. Yeah.
I know it's so sad. I'm looking at these beautiful animals that maybe some of them have come from breeders, and I can only imagine kind of like that upbringing too. I think you even have one in here where I think it's Kayla.
Yes.
Where she was. If you could tell a little bit about Kayla.
Kayla's very similar story to what we're talking about. She was definitely used for breeding. Same thing. Those bully, short, stocky. And we definitely knew right away when we saw her. She had the very extended nipples, showing that she was definitely used for breeding. Her skin was in terrible condition, just showing signs that she was definitely an outdoor dog. She showed up to a family's house, just roaming around the neighborhood. And this family is really kind. They reached out to me. I helped them out. I brought her into the vet. We checked her out. We started treatments on her. They kept her for a little bit for me until we found her a foster. She stayed in foster for quite a while she was recovering. And during her foster time, I would go visit her. And one day I was
cute.
like, yeah. And
Love
one day
that.
I was like, she looks a little big, a little chunky. And I was like, wow, is she pregnant? She probably came pregnant to us. So I took her to the vet.
So you got
We
the
scan-
2-for-1 there, didn't you?
We scanned her, and she did. She had 7 puppies.
Holy shit.
She was having a weird pregnancy thing, a lot of discharge coming out. It was kind of odd, to the point where we're just like, it's either her or the puppies. We're like, she comes first.
Yeah.
So we aborted all the puppies. They were very little, nothing formalized yet. It was, and she did amazing. Woke up an hour later, ready to go, as if she just didn't have surgery. She's phenomenal, a strong girl. She's so happy with anything. I'm sure she was the happiest dog doing what she was doing before, like just breeding puppies, and still probably loved that person that was doing all that to her,
That's the saddest part. I think.
Yeah. It's
That's
so
like Stockholm.
sad.
That's like Stockholm syndrome is in psychology, where you feel bad for your abuser.
Yeah. So, and she loves anybody she meets. It's like this dog should just be traumatized by a human being.
Oh yeah.
And unsure,
All its
right?
puppies are gone. I mean, how many puppies did it give birth to?
Or who knows if she was beat or I don't know. But she's amazing, and She did get adopted. We got her back 2 months later just because she just wasn't doing well with the family dog, apparently. She's back in a foster, so hopefully we'll find her home soon.
That's probably a big risk, I guess. You don't know about is how the puppy's gonna do with the other family dog, right?
Yes. Well, we're very cautious about that. We make sure we have her, get together with other dogs while she's with us, to see what her temperament is. If she does well with other dogs, if she does well with cats, we test it all out. And she did great. She did great with all the dogs we introduced her to. She also did amazing with the family dog when they first met the first few times. But I don't know. I think apparently throughout the time that she spent time with the dog, she slowly started getting along with the dog. I've never heard of that, but it could happen, I guess. I'm not sure. It's just I'm very blunt and straight to the point. If you are calling me to tell me that you need to surrender her back, I just don't even want to hear the excuse. It's like, okay, I'm coming to get her. That's fine. If that thought even crossed your mind, it's because you weren't it,
So going off of that,
Mm-hmm.
I have to get to you then at this point, because I'm thinking of you having to go through all of this emotional toll for yourself, where it's like you're maybe having to go back to get the animal, you're adopting animals. I mean, because I feel like from the sounds of it, you're obviously getting pretty, I don't want to say attached, but I mean, you are emotionally being involved with them, and I can't blame you, obviously. Yeah. Now, I mean, how do you deal with that? I mean, honestly, because it's so many ups and downs.
Yeah.
Right?
Especially with the ones that come in with severe health issues, or if they need certain treatments for a while, we keep them for a while until they're healthy. And those are usually the ones I get really attached to. For example, Kayla, right? She spent a lot of time with us. She went through a lot while she was with me. And now I just want the best for her. And I mean, even last time I went to go check up on her, I just got into a shower. I just started crying when I saw her. I was like, I want the best for her. And it's easier with the dogs that come in and out fast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really get emotionally attached with them. I'm so happy for them, and I find them the best homes because they still mean the same way they mean like any other dog. They mean the world to me, all of them that come through me. And I make sure they're amazing homes. I don't want to have that guilt later being like, you know what? I could have waited a little longer and a better family could have come along,
Yeah.
And I have people that tell me, a home, it's better to have a home than not have a home. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, but I'm different. I'm like, no, they're going to have the best home. I don't want just a home, just a roof over their head. And just food on their plate and water. No, they're going to get the best home. So, but yeah, I'm very numb. You have to be very strong. You have to be numb about it. You can't be in this industry if you're an emotional person, and even in the veterinary industry,
Oh, it's got to be brutal. It's got to be brutal. Just like normal doctors at the hospital. I mean, you have to. I don't know how it's.
You have to be very strong in those. You can't just be, I love dogs. Let me start saving dogs. let me go be a vet. It's way more than that. You're gonna be doing a lot of euthanasias, a lot of hit by cars, a lot of dogs suffering. You need to be okay with that.
I think the suffrage has got to be.
It is, but you're there for a reason, and you're there to help. And that dog is not gonna get any help if it's not because of you. You're it. So that just makes me so happy being there, and it motivates me. So
no, good. Yeah. There's a glow about you that I know you.
Yeah, of course.
You love it, and it hasn't taken that toll of trauma of seeing all of a lot of the suffrage from animals.
And this past month, it really got to me. Everything, just we have our ups and downs, and this month has been kind of down. I just so many calls, and I know they're all people surrendering or finding dogs and cats. And I promised myself I need a little break. I'm gonna give myself a little over New Year's break, and come back strong in January. Actually, this this little break that I'm having and like this emotional moment that I've been going through motivated me to start something where we can start educating the public more about these dogs in the street and what it is to have an animal and adopt. And so, because the goal is to stop doing this, I don't want to have a phone ringing all day for these dogs and cats. I don't want it.
Yeah.
And it's not always dogs and cats. It could be birds, ferrets,
Yeah.
hamsters. We've had a pig before.
Yeah.
A little piglet. And we found him a home. He lives the best life ever.
I'm sure. That's why they're so fat.
Exactly. But yeah. So, but
no,
yeah.
That's nice to hear. I'm gonna put this on if you're watching this on YouTube, you obviously see it, but if you're listening, you might have to either go to the YouTube video or go onto the website and actually see this, because this dog is so cute. It is my spirit animal, Zeus, because you put a very nice bubbly description for each animal, so people can kind of get a good insight into not only like the physicalness, but like their personality, where they came from, which I think is awesome. So if you're a dog lover, pawsitivebeings.org, PAW. So pause, like dog paws. Yeah. And Zeus here, 7 years old. He's a fluffy, is it corgi? Did I say that right?
Corgi. Yes.
Corgi. Zeus is a fluffy corgi who unfortunately spends his days at home while his current owner does not have much time for him. He loves walks. The park, and the breeze on his face, but he prefers to do these things alone and just with his human. Very much my spirit animal. Yeah. Very introverted there. We want to find Zeus a home where he's the only dog, as he prefers to be the king of the house, and his tongue is basically hanging down halfway to his chest because he is smiling delightfully with a Bayside view.
That picture on the website is great of him.
It is. He's just a little chunky. You just want to grab his cheeks and and play Slinky with him because he's so cute.
Exactly.
And before we finish up, Isabella, how can people who are listening and hearing about you for the first time, how can people find you? How can they help? Is there volunteer opportunities?
We're currently just foster based. The places where we hold our animals are either in foster homes, my home, or we're very lucky where one of the vet offices where I work at, there's a boarding facility. So sometimes we do need to board them there. So currently at the moment, we don't have any volunteer work, except if we do have events sometimes, and we do like to have volunteers and help us out, or fostering. I do give out community service hours for people that foster for me, or anything else above. And the only way we keep moving is donations, funds. That's the only way we can keep doing what we do and keeping this mission alive. And our goal for next year really is to get a property and have people come in and volunteer. And we want to make this space so different for everybody. We don't want you to just come in and, work and volunteer and be sad. And, I want it to be a place where if you want to come and read a book and lay down next to your dog, you're more than welcome to, if you want to come and have a coffee. I want it to be like a fun space for everybody to come on by, even if you're not giving us any funds, even if you're not coming to really volunteer or walk a dog, or you just want to sit down and relax there or sit with a dog or with a cat. It means the world to them, they're so alone while they're waiting for their homes. So yeah, that's it really. And if anybody's interested in adopting, there's the website. Those are currently always the available animals that we have. There's an adoption application. After you guys apply, we do go through all the applications. If you're accepted, we reach out. It's a very big process. We interview via phone, we do a meet and greet, and even after the meet and greet, I can be like, you know what? No, I didn't. Even if your energy's off, or if
because you don't want to give them away to a breeder, right?
Of course not. So we're very strict with the adoption applications. If we approve the adoption application, we have a house check. We usually do a FaceTime call. We get to know you, and then we do a meet and greet. If that's approved, we do a meet and greet. After the meet and greet, we give you the final yes or no. I can easily tell you no after a meet and greet. Your vibe can be off, your energy. Maybe I don't like your state of living. That's happened before, where I come into your place and I'm like, this is not where I want my animal living. And after they're adopted, I always recommend pet insurance. It's, one of the main reasons people...
It's huge.
It's huge. It's one of the reasons people surrender their pets to us. They can't afford medical bills. So at the end of the day, I think I should make it a requirement. But, sometimes we have adopters that come in that can't afford a $6,000 estimate, but I highly recommend it. Usually it's ranges from $20 to $50 a month, depending what package you get.
It's not that expensive. It's like 2 entrees at Applebee's.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you can get pet insurance, and the quality of my adopters, they're great. I want amazing adopters. I want amazing parents to these animals that come my way. So I think they are always all willing to get pet insurance, and they do.
Good.
They do. I check in a month later with them to see how the animal's doing. I confirm that they got it. Always, 99%. They always get it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good to hear then.
Yeah, that's great.
That's good to hear. So we'll hopefully then, into the next year, we'll hopefully link up down the road and see how you're doing.
I'd love that. Yeah. Once we get a place going, a facility, that would be amazing. We'll give you a tour.
Yes,
you can come
I would
hang
love
out
that.
with everybody. Yeah. Of course.
That's awesome. And for everyone listening right now, it's pausitivebeings.org. Yes, that is a pun. Pawsitive Beings, being PAWSITIVE beings.org. Paw as in dog paw. And you can check out all of their amazing animals, all of Isabella's amazing animals she has as foster right now. See their faces, see a nice little cute description, and go adopt one. So thank you, Isabella.
No problem. And don't forget to donate, guys.
Yes.
The mission doesn't stay alive without everybody's donations.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate all of this.
Thank you, Isabella. And we'll see you down the road.
Of course.
With every star